Alright folks, this is the real deal. Australia is heading towards a federal election, likely in May, and things are looking messy. Labor is bleeding votes left, right, and centre, but here's the kicker. The Liberals aren't gaining enough ground to take advantage of it. So what does this mean? Are we headed for a hung parliament? A minority government? Or is Peter Dutton simply failing to convince Aussies he's a better option than Anthony Albanese? Let's break it down. According to recent polling and election results, Labor is copping some massive losses in its primary vote. We are talking double-digit swings against them. Now, normally, you'd expect that to translate into a big win for the opposition, right? But that's not happening. The Liberals are only getting small, single-figure swings in their favour. And here's where it gets even weirder. Even though Labor is losing voters, a lot of them aren't actually backing Dutton's party. Instead, they are scattering. Some are going to the Greens, others to independents, and in the end, when preferences are counted, a lot of them are still finding their way back to Labor. That's a huge problem for the coalition. If the Libs can't close that gap, they simply won't win enough seats to form government. Now, let's talk about the wild card in all of this, Western Australia. WA was a bloodbath for the Liberals at the last election, and while it's looking like Labor's vote is set to drop, it's not necessarily translating into a win for Dutton. Take this. Labor's primary vote in WA is down by about 18%. That sounds massive, but it's coming off an insanely high base. So yes, they are losing ground, but that doesn't mean the Liberals are automatically in the clear. In fact, the exact same trend we've seen in Victoria and other by-elections is playing out in WA. Labor voters are ditching Albanese, but they aren't running into Dutton's arms. And that means seats the Libs are hoping to win back might still be out of reach. For the coalition, it's a numbers game. To form government, they need to pick up at least 15 seats. But with the way things are going, they might only claw back 8, maybe 9 or 10, leaving us staring down the barrel of a minority government. And let's be real, nobody wants that mess. There's another crucial factor at play here: undecided voters. Right now, a whopping 47% of Australians say they don't feel like they have a natural political home. That's almost half the country feeling politically homeless. Some experts are calling them Dutton curious. They don't love him, but they are considering him. But here's the problem. Considering isn't the same as committing. They might not be thrilled with Labor, but that doesn't mean they are fully on board with the coalition either. And this is where Peter Dutton is in trouble. A lot of voters want more than just a reason to ditch Labor. They need a reason to trust the Liberals with their economic future. And let's be honest, Dutton hasn't exactly nailed that messaging yet. Now, let's talk about something that's often overlooked: women voters. There's been a lot of chatter about whether Dutton has a women problem, but what if it's actually Albanese who's in trouble here? The cost of living crisis is smashing Australian families, and traditionally, women, especially in outer suburban areas, are the ones making the tough financial decisions. They are the ones at the checkout watching prices go up. They are the ones telling their kids, "Sorry, we can't afford soccer practice this term." And they are the ones angriest about it. Focus groups have shown women absolutely fed up with how expensive life has become. Many are working 2 jobs just to put food on the table. Some can't even get their kids in to see a doctor. And that's a huge problem for Labor because these are the voters they should be able to count on. Meanwhile, male voters who have left Labor, they are gone. There's so much frustration and anger there that they are unlikely to return. But with female voters, it's different. They are still weighing up their options. The door is still open, but for who? If Peter Dutton wants to win them over, he needs to do more than just point at Labor and say, "Look how bad they are." He needs to give them a reason to trust him with their finances, their families, and their futures. At this stage, all signs are pointing to an incredibly complicated election. Labor is losing voters, but the Liberals aren't picking them up fast enough. The Teals and Independents are on the rise. Millennials, who are now the biggest voting bloc, are far less loyal to political parties than baby boomers were. Women are furious about the cost of living. And undecided voters? They are still floating around, looking for an option they can actually get behind. If the Liberals can't close this gap, we are likely looking at a minority government. That means backroom deals, compromises, and political chaos. And if you thought politics was wild now, just wait till the campaign heats up. One thing's for sure, this election isn't just about who's losing. It's about who isn't winning either. Let us know in the comments, who do you think will come out on top? Are you still backing Albanese, or is it time for Dutton to take the reins? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon, because we'll be breaking down every twist and turn of this wild election season. Stay tuned, legends, things are just getting started.